Hi guys, welcome to my newly cleaned attic. Hi guys, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm Felicia from SweetGeorgia, and this is Taking Back Friday. Now, Taking Back Friday is usually a place where we come every Friday and we talk about knitting and weaving and dyeing and spinning and all those wonderful things that I love about the fiber arts. Today is, I will be honest, it will be a bit of a mishmash episode. We just got back from TNNA, Bridget, Teresa, Tabitha, and I. We spent about 3 or 4 days in Oregon for TNNA, the National Needle Arts Trade Show. And just prior to that, Tabitha stayed with us in Vancouver for about 3 days, and we did a whole bunch of filming. And then we did a day of filming with Katrina from Crafty Jacks for a carding workshop. All of this stuff is going to go into the School of SweetGeorgia. It's been a busy couple of weeks, and so now I'm just kind of catching up on lots and lots of things. One of the things that I was catching up on was cleaning up this attic. It was so messy that I could not even bear to bring Tabitha up to show her the attic because it was really not good. So what I have done in the past couple days is finish tidying up and purging and getting rid of extra yarn and going through maybe 80% of the yarn, 75% of the yarn, and really looking at it and thinking about whether or not I want to do anything with it in the future, or if it could be something that I could give to Charlotte to use for charity projects. And she also, whatever she can't knit with, she passes on to her charity group and they knit hats as well. So I've already given her a couple of bags of yarn, but I have just one more bag here. So this entire bag is also going to Charlotte tomorrow. And in here, you know, is stuff like, this is mohair that I bought more than 10 years ago. There's leftover yarns from different projects. There's, lots of leftover yarns. It's just a lot of leftover ends and bits and pieces and full skeins of things that I will never use. So I'm going to pass all of these on to charity. So something else that I talked about in one of the previous episodes was about making knitting kits from the yarn stash that I have. So going through all the bins and looking for yarns that would match patterns that I wanted to knit. Trouble is, most of the things that I wanted to knit were sweaters, and I don't really have sweater quantities of and I don't really have sweater quantities of yarn to use for these projects. So it ended up being like a lot of accessories and things like that. But basically here in the bin, I kind of packaged up my very, very favorite things, my favorite yarns, like the yarns that really popped out to me, like I want to make something with that. And that's what I put into this bin here. So this is the fizzy water tough love sock that I got last year that I've been talking about, and I don't know what to do with it. It's gonna hopefully become a floozy sweater. So that's in a kit there. And then other things, like I had dyed a couple of these sock blanks. These are sock blanks that are, I think they still might be available on our website, SweetGeorgiaYarns.com, but I over dyed them. So basically they're much lighter to begin with. Actually, the original color looked like this. That's sock blank. And then I over dyed them to produce kind of more autumny sort of colors. So those two colors I'm super in love with. And I wanted to make some kind of a hand woven scarf with these two sock blanks. And I want to do it in conjunction with these skeins of lichen and lace that I picked up at Knit City. I still love these so much. So these are going to go together with these to make some sort of a thing. And then in here, there's more sock blanks, similar. Another sock blank that we had on the website. I don't have the original color here, but it was originally very, very white. and light and blue and things like that. And I have since over-dyed them as well to produce something a little bit different, and thinking about crossing them with this skein of Bulletproof Sock, which is dyed in the violet color, which is one of the fall colors that we're doing this year. So that's that. And then there's like a couple of different trios of colors that I really liked. So I found these 3 colors to go together. You can't really see. There's like a swamp watery kind of color, a deep covish kind of color, and I think that this is an old skein of autumn flame, something like that. So very autumny colors. I really like autumny colors. And there's one with sapphire. Maybe I'll take them out of the bag. Ah, yeah. So maybe you can see those a little bit better. There's one. And this is the other. So I think I have like these combos, these 3 skein combos, one here, one here. I know that last year when we did the Tulamine Mystery Knit Along, that was 3 different colors of sock yarn. So I feel like I'm set for whatever mystery shawl type project comes along this year. I could probably make it with this or do some huge, no, not gonna do a huge shawl. So these are the yarns that I'm really, really excited about using this year, but they may not be like the thing that I'm going to be using right away. So I have another place where I put those yarns. So I don't know if you can tell or not, but back there in those cubbies, what I've done is I've put the yarn that I'm going to use pretty much immediately over there. And so that is all set up for knitting projects that I want to work on right away. Things that are really comforting to knit, things that are really just relaxed and enjoyable. I feel like very few expectations out of my knitting. My knitting, the only expectation or desire that I want out of my knitting now is to just relax and enjoy it. Yeah, it's not a competition. Knitting is not a competition. Knitting is just for me to enjoy it and relax. I will tell you, in this mishmash of an episode, this mishmash of an update, I'll let you know that yesterday, Sylvia McFadden, Soft Sweater, she came to my house here and we recorded a little podcast episode. So yes, our podcast, our audio podcast is going to be starting again very, very soon. And yeah, I just had the best conversation with Sylvia. And this is part of the reason why I have really missed making the podcast, is this opportunity to sit down and have really great long form conversations with people about creativity, about craft, about how they do what they do. I specifically wanted to talk to Sylvia about her photography skills because she is such an excellent photographer as well as a knitwear designer. And so when I was recording all of the stuff for the yarnography course for the School of Sweet Georgia, I really, really wanted to connect with Sylvia to ask her, her tips on how to work with models, how to photograph outside, how to photograph and give direction to models, just all sorts of things like that. So I finally got the chance to do that yesterday. And as I was sort of researching Sylvia and her work and her portfolio, I came across a whole bunch of her patterns that I had queued up in the past and wanted to knit and have not yet started to knit. And so yesterday I started a shawl project. So yesterday I started this. Yeah, so yesterday I started this shawl. It's called Copper and Candle Wax Garter and Lace Triangle Shawlette. It's just really, really meant to be super, super simple. You start at the garter end here of the shawl, then you increase and make all these garter stitches, and then you continue on in lace, and then you finish at this edge. Super, super easy. This is definitely my speed right now. I just want something that's relaxing, that I don't need to worry about or think about or anything. And I knew that this project was the right project because when I checked out the instructions, it begins shawl, cast on 1 stitch. And so I said, okay. And so yeah, I started knitting this last night. It is, you know, just simple, easy, you know, it's TV knitting. So this is 2 skeins of my favorite color, mulberry, in the superwash worsted. So just really simple and easy. This is 100% superwash merino and 200 yards per skein. 2 skeins of this. Make a shawl while watching TV. It'll be the best thing. We started watching that new show that's on Amazon Prime called Hannah. And because I think I'd mentioned before, like my favorite show right now of recent history, my very, very favorite show has been Altered Carbon on Netflix. And so the same actor that's in that one is now in this new one called Hannah on Amazon Prime. It's really good. Just the first episode's come out. Really good. So that's basically my knitting update for this week. While I was at TNNA, we bumped into a yarn shop owner. Her name is Andrea. She operates a yarn boutique out of Ohio called 614 Studio, 614 Yarn Studio. And she was telling me that her February, she's given it kind of a theme, and it's called Effin' February. And so her goal for February is to look at all of those projects, those unfinished projects, and either finish it, frog it, or forget about it. So I thought it was cute and very hilarious and great advice. So, you know, your February, your unfinished projects, this is the month to just do them or don't do them, figure it out, and move forward. I think that's the goal for February. So talking about making things while watching TV, one of my goals over the holidays was to get a stand for my rigid heddle loom so that I could take the rigid heddle loom downstairs and watch TV and weave at the same time. And so I have it right here. So you can kind of see, can you kind of see? Kind of see? There's a stand. So on my loom here is a mohair silk DK warp with the strawberry tea, and I'm using a mohair that I dyed for weft, and it's now on a stand, and now I can watch TV and weave, and it's great because the loom doesn't go anywhere. I kind of put my legs, I kind of fold my legs on top of the little support bar, and the loom doesn't go anywhere. It's great. I'm actually getting things done. It feels pretty good. And once this warp is off the loom, I have a whole bunch of other projects in mind that I'm going to be working on. I think one thing that I have mentioned before is that in 2019, I'm going to be doing a lot more weaving content for the School of Sweet Georgia. And so some stuff is going to go on the rigid heddle, some stuff is going to go on the frame looms, and some stuff is going to go on the floor looms. So one of them is going to be the baby wolf, and I think I mentioned, yeah, I did mention that I have another loom downstairs now, a humongous Nihilist Leclerc loom that is 45 inches wide, and so something big could go on that. I have a feeling that even maybe my epic project is going to go on that loom. I have a feeling that that's going to happen. I kind of did the math this morning for how much I need to do for my epic cloth project, and I think it's something like 750 ends of cotton yarn. It's going to be set very, very close together because I'm going to be making a warp-faced project. So that means that all the warp threads are squished very close together, very tightly together. Yes. So I worked it all out this morning and worked out the colors that I'm going to try and use. Yeah, so basically I'm going to go through all of that next Friday on a live stream for the School of Sweet Georgia during our crafternoon time, which is, no, it's noon. It's 12 noon on Friday, next Friday, Friday the 15th. I'll be doing that for the School of Sweet Georgia and just basically talking through my mood boards and what I was looking at and the kinds of colors that I want to use and moving more towards doing the calculations for how I'm going to actually put this project together. So that is happening. And so the other thing about cleaning this attic is that I cleaned up and I tidied up this baby wolf loom as well over the holidays. So I went through the process of removing all of the shafts and taking each shaft out, dusting every single one, dusting all the parts of the loom, and then again sort of conditioning the wood and making sure that it's nice and moisturized. It's like giving a spa. It's getting a spa treatment for your loom. You know, just everything is nice and oiled and greased and tightened, and moisturized. The whole thing is nice and clean. Now, the other thing that I did is I decided to switch all of my heddles. So basically, I have 8 shafts on this loom, and I took 4 of the shafts and I I basically took off all the heddles off of 4 of the shafts. And then I moved those heddles to the other 4 shafts. And then the 4 empty shafts, I put Texsolve heddles on there. And so you might not know what the difference is, but basically, let me show you the difference. Okay, can you kind of hear that noise? So basically the loom, this baby wolf loom, used to have all these metal heddles. And so every time you weave and you change shafts, it goes cha-ching, 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 and it's really quite noisy. And that's fine for me. I don't really mind it. But I'm trying to weave while my family is sleeping. And so I thought that it might be really good if I could find a way to make it much more quiet. So I took all those metal heddles and I replaced them with these Texsolve ones. They're perfectly silent. So these are basically like string heddles that are made out of this material. It's kind of like a nylon material. It's called Texsolve. And I bought these heddles from Jane Stafford. They basically come as one continuous strip. And you can see, like, I don't know if you can see. You can see there's the hole where you would thread your yarn through, and then this is what sort of determines your weave pattern, you know, which threads are going up, which threads are going to go stay put, all of that kind of stuff. And so I have not yet had a chance to weave on this loom with these heddles yet. I've been told that because these are not as heavy as the metal heddles, that it can cause some logistical problems with the loom functioning. I don't know that that's true or not. I'm going to find out, and we'll see. And I hope that it will make the loom significantly more quiet to work with. So that's kind of it. So I'm working on a lot of weaving content, but then at the same time, I'm also writing the dyeing course. So the fiber reactive dyes course, I'm writing that one right now. And I'm going to have to start getting into making some samples and dyeing and all that kind of stuff in maybe probably just a couple weeks, because I need that information in order to be able to dye the warps for my epic cloth project. So everything is all kind of like happening all at the same time. In the meantime, we also are going to have some content coming out on the School of Sweet Georgia to do with the carding workshop that we recorded with Katrina last week. And so in that course, she teaches how to card a bat, how to work with a blending board, how to work with hand carders. And I'm really, really excited to be adding other voices and other instructors to the School of Sweet Georgia. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that stuff with you. The other person who's going to be adding content to the School of Sweet Georgia is also Tabitha. So when Tabitha was here last week, we filmed 2 workshops and a couple of tutorials. The workshops are to do with designers, knitwear designers, and helping them prepare submissions. Whether you're submitting to a magazine, if you're going to submit pattern ideas to Sweet Georgia, however you want to do it, Tabitha sort of walks you through the entire process of what you need in order to prepare a design submission as a designer. The other workshop that she prepared is basically about helping knitters read patterns for the very first time. So all that content is going to be coming to the School of Sweet Georgia in the coming weeks. And at the same time, I am also going to be releasing our Sweet Georgia Show podcast. So this is the podcast that we've been doing this is going to be season 4. And yeah, I'm very, very excited about this, because the idea here this year is to be able to tie a lot of our guests on the podcast with content that we're putting together in the School of Sweet Georgia, kind of making this whole thing a little bit full circle, right? Because In some cases, I'm teaching the content that's in the school, but I really, really want to be able to have a conversation with people who are doing these techniques as part of their creative careers. And so, talking to people who are doing stranded color work, knitting design, people who are doing dyeing as their career, people who are doing weaving as their career, just like a lot of people doing work that is related to what we're also learning about. So both things at the same time. So that's going to be coming out very, very soon as well. And then finally, I don't know if you guys saw on the website this week, we launched a sale. It's our annual sale that we do, and it's called a mystery bag sale. And basically every year at the studio, we amass, we create quite a number of seconds. We second things that people would look at and say, oh, that's probably not a second, but we second it anyways, because if the colors are just slightly not exactly what we say that they're going to be, or if they're dye tests that we're doing, experiments that we're doing to try new colors, all those kinds of things, we do a lot of tests. And we can't possibly keep all this yarn or archive all this yarn. And so what we do is we have a sale. But since it would be crazy to try to photograph each skein and put those all up on the website, what we do is we create a mystery sale. And so Charlotte and Deb and Keith and helpers at the studio have all put together sets of these yarns, pairs, colors that look good together, colors that work well together, but you won't know what you get until you go and get your yarn. So that's why it's a mystery. So that sale is going on this week on the website. So you can go on the website and find that under shop, and then you'll find it under mystery bag sale. So that is about it for this week. I'm going to leave you guys with a couple of images of the before scene of this attic and a couple scenes of the after scene of this attic. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this episode, usually they're more focused. Today was a little bit of lots of things. But if you like this episode, please do hit the like button. And if you'd like to see more things like this, please do hit subscribe. And every Friday we come back with new content every week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye for now. Is that one all done?